someone who's really into the Bitcoin scene and what he thinks about the Ethereum ETF as well. Strike CEO, Jack Mallers, always great to have you on the show. Thanks for coming in to the studio. You, of course, very much focused on functionality and building upon Bitcoin. What do you think, though, of a ETF, yet more institutional money potentially coming into the smart contract side of the equation?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any other cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin, but I think there is a hilarious story as to why this is happening. I mean, I was laughing out loud. It looks like someone went to Gary Gensler and said, hey, buddy, you're not in charge anymore. And you'd have to think why that was. It's because banks and Wall Street are making money, right? Banks get a really bad deal in today's market is they have to buy bonds that are performing awfully. And all of a sudden, they get a free market in this independent crypto thing, and they're actually making money. These markets have life. These markets go up. When governments debase their currency, these things perform well. And they got a taste of Bitcoin, and it was the best performing product that they've ever had. And they're like, oh man, how many other pieces of crap are there out there that we can list as ETFs? And I literally think that's what's happening. It's a way better business to launch crypto ETFs than it is to buy bonds right now. Based on the macro environment. So I think someone said, hey, Gary, sorry, buddy, despite you thinking that these things are securities, we need to make money. And that's what happened.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Gary Gensler because, of course, the House of Representatives is currently taking on a bill at the moment as to whether it should be the SEC at all overseeing crypto products more generally or whether it should be shifted. But to your point, whether or not Ethereum does indeed manage to become spot traded with an ETF and money coming in, there's a real organization of some of the documents because they don't want to see staking involved in any way. How do you think about what that means for an investment opportunity?
Listen, again, I'm a Bitcoin guy. I think all of this is a distraction and a load and nonsense. I think what they're trying to do is walk the fine line of how can we justify banks and Wall Street making more revenue on this industry? Because with all passive investing and central banks really trying to price control everything, this market has life. And if it has life, it means there's an opportunity to make money. Volatility is a good thing. People on Wall Street like volatility. So they're trying to find a way to justify and make happy and peace with existing securities laws while giving these Wall Street and these big banks like JP Morgan an ability to monetize this space and actually make money because the business they're in right now is awful. I mean, you're needing to buy bonds, lend money to the government, and not get paid the growth that they're
Equities have been doing quite well. I mean, there are certain parts of the I get your point, though. Financial institutions still been doing quite well in the rest of the markets, but there's potentially a role for banks to play here, which could also be going through regulatory.
Yeah, but I think, listen, the S&P 500 is dominated by what, like the top 7 companies, and they're all tech companies. Tech companies don't care about the cost of capital. They don't need business loans. Facebook, Apple, these companies can finance their business with their existing cash flows. And so the rest of the world is in a pain of hurt. And banks right now, their whole job is to take our deposits and buy bonds, and these bonds are getting slaughtered. And all of a sudden, they're like, wow, here's a market with life. Here's a market with retail flows. Here's a market that has volatility and that is actually reactive to the outside world. Hey, how many of these crypto things exist? Hey, Gary, accept them all. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Shubaduki coin. What did I say on here? We should get a Shubaduki ETF soon. Seriously, I really think they're going to try and monetize it.
Jack, let's go back to basics here. There will be members of the Bloomberg Technology audience that push back on, I'm paraphrasing, a spot ETH ETF being the next listing of a piece of crap. There's a standard tagline in our Bloomberg coverage, which is that Ether is the native token of Ethereum, and Ethereum is the most widely commercially used blockchain. What would be your response to that standard line?
Sure. Okay. And I apologize to all those I offended. Here's my point. Bitcoin is the only money within the cryptocurrency space. It's designed and treated as a monetary asset. So then what do I think Ethereum is? I think Ethereum is a technology, which you actually just displayed in your introduction and definition of it. Ethereum appeals to developers. They change the monetary policy and the rules all of the time. However, the market often conflates it as a money, conflates it as a commodity. Strike is a technology. NVIDIA is a technology. These things are regulated by the SEC. These things have cash flows. These things have founders, directors, people that set the roadmap. And so when I say a piece of crap, maybe I'm being a bit aggressive, but I think it's distinctly different from Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin can be the world reserve asset, the one money that we use to store our time and energy. And I think Ethereum can be a technology which competes with NVIDIA. But then it gets confusing. It's like, well, what's their cash flows? Who founded it? Who sets the direction? Why does it change so much? And when it does change, why does it change? I think that there's a lot of intentional confusion going on in the story. And as a Bitcoiner, it frustrates me because I'm trying to fix the money, fix the world. And so I think that there's a lot the market has to sort out as to what it actually is and how to value it.
Jack Mallers, come back with your messaging and come on the show from San Francisco as well. Strike CEO Jack Mallers on all things crypto. Meanwhile, we do have